All right, that's going to do it in a very weird first half. Very not unexpected, I guess I should say, for the first half. Here in Sacramento, the Kings lead it 65-57. I'm Ryan in Sacktown. Look, Kevin Huerter, he is cooking right now for the Sacramento Kings. 14 points. You've got three starters in double digits here in the first half. Good sign for them. Bad sign for the Sacramento Kings. The San Antonio Spurs are the worst three-point shooting team in the NBA, and they're shooting 50%. At one point earlier in the game, halfway through the first quarter, they were shooting closer. They were shooting 80%. So that needs to slow down, as well as Vassell for the Spurs. He is lighting up the Kings right now. The Kings have not had much of an answer for him. So we'll see if Mike Brown and the rest of the staff can come up with an adjustment there. I'm Ryan in Sacktown. Welcome to the Kings halftime show. In just a moment, Jerry Reynolds will be joining the team. De'Aaron Fox in the first half, really impressed with the way that he was getting everybody involved in sharing the basketball. De'Aaron Fox, it makes a difference. You get a guy like Kevin Huerter going. De'Aaron finishes the first half with 6 assists. That makes a big difference. Now, the bench for Sacramento, a little bit left, or a little bit more to be desired. You get 7 from Malik Monk in the first half. But outside of Malik, 4 from Trey Lyles. Chris Duarte, he gives you a little bit, but, outside of Malik, where else are you going to go for Sacramento? I can tell you this. If San Antonio continues to shoot the three ball at a high percentage, it is going to be an issue for Sacramento, regardless of what the Kings are doing offensively. And again, I do like what the Kings are doing. Domas, you can tell, he's still playing a physical brand of basketball, but Domas is certainly a little bit under the weather. So I would like to see the Kings get a little bit more into the mid-range. And again, I'm Ryan in Sacktown. Thanks for joining us here on the halftime show. On If You Don't Like That, Jerry Reynolds should be joining me here in a few minutes. We'll be looking for him to join the show and give us his insights. I want to get a good pop story out of Jerry Reynolds too. But anyways, getting back to the game, the Kings 2-point percentage. The Kings are shooting on the season coming into tonight. The Kings are 4th in the NBA in 2-point percentage, right around 57.1%. However, the Kings are 27th in attempts. So can the Kings get something going? I know it's tough with San Antonio. They've got some length. The problem with the three ball in San Antonio, as I go back to that, is San Antonio's a 6-win team. They're not a very good basketball team. And they don't look that way. Certainly, they have guys that can play. Wemby, as he continues to grow as a player, watch the heck out. But, they can play a little bit, but you let them grow some confidence in this game, right? It's kind of a new season for them. It's the second half, right? Coming off of a break from the All-Star break for most of them. And now it's like, okay, we're in this thing. Okay, I'm feeling it. And so that's what you worry about. And Mike Brown has put a huge focus on defense coming out of the All-Star break, because the Kings are 30th, dead last in the NBA at protecting the three-point line. Opponents are killing them from beyond the arc. Beyond that, you got to look at Keegan Murray. Not a ton from him offensively. You can also say Harrison Barnes. He gives you 0. He only gets 1 shot. Harrison Barnes plays 6 minutes. Keep an eye on that. That's something different. I know Mike Brown played some different combination. It's Alex Len. I was really happy Mike Brown went to Alex Len there in the first half. You might not feel the same way, but I feel like he brought some physicality to Wemby, and I think that's an element that you need to bring to him, even though he's going to be taller than anybody else out on the court. So Alex Len gives you 2 points. He's a +2 in his 8 minutes off the bench. Davion Mitchell not a lot there for you. Chris Duarte, again, gives you the spark, but Malik Monk is the guy. And, his assists, Malik is usually the guy that gets that second unit going. Malik only has one assist in the first half. But I don't want to damper this first half. The starters for your Sacramento Kings, Kevin Huerter, De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, all playing excellent tonight. The Kings go on a nice little run to end the half, 65-57. The first quarter, sluggish, as you would expect. San Antonio took that one 32-30. Second quarter, picks up for Sacramento. They score 35 to San Antonio's 25. I would think if you're Sacramento and you hold San Antonio to 2 more quarters under 30, you are winning this basketball game. And again, you look at points in the paint, you're a little bit alarmed if you're the Kings. San Antonio, not known for that all the time. San Antonio has 34 of those to the Sacramento's 28 in the first half. The other thing that you have to look at is rebounds. The Kings are being out-rebounded right now by 5 rebounds. The reason that's significant is San Antonio is one of the worst teams at keeping teams off of, or keeping their opponents off of the boards. And then also that first quarter, first 13 or whatever it was, the span where there was no fouls. Okay, that's troublesome. San Antonio, they foul almost as much as anybody in the NBA. So all things considered, a good half for your Kings. Again, up 67-57. I'm right in Sacktown. We were expecting Jerry Reynolds at the half. Hopefully he can still pop in. If not, that's all right. We'll bring you home. Want to get some of your scores as well. Let me know what you guys are thinking about for the second half, and give me your thoughts. You're welcome as also to call the show. You can scan that QR code that's right above my shoulder right there. We can bring those up as well. Let's see. Mike Brown. We play horrible defense for him being a defensive-minded coach. Yeah, well, it's the three-point shooting. It's the closeouts. It's those are the issues. So as we speak about the issues, I can promise you one issue we don't have is our favorite man right there, Jerry Reynolds. How you doing tonight?
Well, good. I was on 5 minutes ago on backstage. I guess it didn't come through to you, but yeah, I was on, and and it's like it. So anyway, here I am. but
So
so
I didn't do my job, and I left you hanging.
Something discombobulated, a little bit like Kings defense there in the first half.
Yeah.
Just not everything working together.
Yeah, Jerry, let's talk about the first half. Again, Jerry joining us here on the halftime show. I mean, San Antonio, they're not a good three-point shooting team, yet they shoot 50% in the first half.
Yeah, the Kings have a knack of leaving the ball, and you see a lot of just really comfortable three-point shots, where guys have their feet set when they catch it with space, and that generally helps bad shooters be a little better. So I think that's just something that's been a consistent problem for them, at least for periods of games. I really will be surprised if they don't really tighten up here in the second half. I would certainly like to see them pick up full court more, really pressure the ball coming down the floor, make them use clock. I think you might get the Spurs out of their rhythm because right now they're playing very comfortable in the half court. And, the Kings are playing good enough offense. As you pointed out earlier, I was listening. I mean, their Kings bench, you're not getting much from the bench, and you need a little more. I mean, obviously, Malik is Malik, and he's been very good. Duarte actually contributed much more than you could count on for say. But I mean, I think with Lyles and Davion, they you're just not getting enough from your bench, and I think they'll have to be more active here in the second half.
Yeah, it's a great point, Jerry. You get 7 from Monk, you get 4 from Lyles, and that's about it scoring-wise. But those are the only 2 guys Mike Brown's really relied on this season. Do you see this continuing to be a problem down the stretch with the rotation?
I worry about it. I just don't think this team is as deep as it needs to be. I was kind of hoping they'd be able to pick up another guy that they could feel like could play in the rotation. So they've got to stay healthy. I think if they stay really healthy, but it's even like tonight. I mean, Domas playing terrific, but you can tell he's
Yeah.
not 100%. And there's going to be nights when some of the key guys aren't there for several games. I mean, just the odds tells you that, and that's where the bench uh, then really gets thin because some of those guys become starters. So, yeah, a little concerned. I mean, obviously the Spurs, their record is their record and well deserved. But they're you can see the young talent that they do have. That and I think I have a lot of faith in Coach Popovich that they'll turn it around. Maybe not this year, but certainly in the future.
Well, he certainly has I mean, in my opinion, once in a generation talent in terms of his stature and build in Wemby. Jerry, just a few thoughts watching this young man play as a rookie, and what do you think the ceiling is for him?
It's hard to tell what the ceiling is. So much of it is strength. He just doesn't have the lower leg body strength. He can't really establish position. That'll come. But and that's why really I think the record is what it is. It really hasn't improved from last year. And you're taking one of the probably great talents we've seen come in the league, but his lower body has to get stronger, and I think he has to find a way to be more productive around the basket offensively as opposed to facing and playing on the perimeter. And I think that'll here again that will come in time. But yeah, he's once in a generation kind of talent, but he's got a ways to go. I mean, he's still got a ways to go to be a game changer. As far as because at the end of the day is if you're a great player, your team should win. Simple as that.
Yeah. Really quick, what do you, if I had to hold your feet to the fire, what do you think the timeline is if you're Greg Popovich on Wemby turning into that player?
I think third year. I mean, I think you'll see steady improvement. I think you're seeing remarkable things now, maybe not consistently, but periodically. And then next year you'll see more consistency. The body's going to get stronger. By the third year, he can probably be one of the half dozen best players in the world if in fact he works hard. And Pop, as he gets stronger, we'll be able to use him differently. And I think that's also a key.
Yeah, absolutely. The Kings up 65-57 in the first half. 3 starters in double digits. Kevin Huerter playing excellent. De'Aaron Fox, 6 assists there. Jerry Reynolds with us. I am shamed. I am Ryan in Shame Town because I left Jerry in the audience for the first part of the show.
My feelings, I mean, I may never get over it. I'm triggered. I'm triggered. I got to go find a safe space.
Yeah. Hey, Jerry, I told you last time I put you in that space, I wouldn't do it again. I'm sorry.
Well, I'll give you another chance. Now, if it was Grant, I wouldn't, but I'll give you another chance.
I'll keep that between us, okay?
Okay.
So I want to talk really quick about Greg Popovich because, yeah, he's going to have a huge role to play in Wemby's development, but you wouldn't know it sometimes by what you see on the court, but he's got a one-of-the-kind personality. Jerry, you got some good Greg Popovich stories for this?
I mean, he's just such a unique guy. I've known him a long time since he came in the league. His first year in the league, he was an assistant with, let's see, I think Larry Brown. Yeah, Larry Brown. I think it was his first job in San Antonio, and then later with Don Nelson. And he came from a small college background like I did. So we just talked about some of that stuff, but, just a real student of the game. And he's a hard-edged guy. I mean, in other words, he's definitely old school, and he'll hurt some. I always said with Greg, he's one of those guys a little bit like Pat Riley and a few of the older coaches in the past where Jerry Sloan, where they might hurt somebody's feelings in the locker room now and then.
Yeah.
Little come to Jesus talk occasionally.
Sometimes those are needed. The Kings getting ready to tip off the second half here against the Spurs. They lead 65-57. Jerry, I am going to get you out of here, but first I have to ask you two questions. Final score and a key to the second half.
I think 122 to 112, and I think the key will be basically valuing the ball, very few turnovers, and making your free throws. Yeah.
There it is.
And I said earlier, pick them up, put a little pressure on the ball, pressure these guys a little bit. So that's it. That's all I got for you.
There it is from Jerry himself. All right, we will be right back here with you after the game on If You Don't Like That. Thank you for joining the halftime show. Go Kings. Lights